Hey everyone, it's Gary here, coming to you from beautiful Bay Haven, Three Forks, Montana. One of the more common ribs that are barbecued, of course, is St. Louis rib, which we're going to make here today. What I'm going to start with here is this is a pork spare rib. This is what they call a 3 to 5 pork spare rib, which means, of course, it's going to weigh between 3 and 5 pounds. We have some knuckles in here that you can feel for. And you can see where there's actually a knuckle here, and that separates the brisket from the ribs. And what we're going to do is we're just going to cut right where that knuckle is and kind of follow the contour of the rib down all the way to the end. And there it is. And that's your brisket. These ribs, there's going to be a bone in here, which is hard to cut through. By the time you get down to about here, you can start cutting it in sections. Now, what I do with this product is we have a recipe. I guess it's just a real popular one. It's not really a recipe. It's pork and cabbage. We throw seasoned pork in our Instapot, and we pressure cook it. Then we throw in some cabbage at the end. And the flavor of these bones and this pork on this pork brisket is awesome. And what we have here now is a St. Louis rib. And the brisket's been taken off all the way down. Still got some rib bones here, still got a little bit of the flank meat. Wonderful piece of product here. Now, the next step we do is we season it. And I've mixed up some seasoning here that I like. It's Spadale Ranch pork, one of my favorites, all the Spadale products. I've done some jerk seasoning. You can get this almost anywhere. And also some granulated garlic. And granulated is my choice as opposed to powdered garlic because I just like it a little more subtle. And powdered garlic's pretty strong. So those are just the 3 items. It's fairly simple. What we're going to do here is we're going to set this aside for just a moment. And then we're going to bring in our foil. Here's our foil ready to go. And we're going to season our ribs on the rib side first. Just sprinkling a little along there. And of course, anytime you dry season something, you want to rub it. That's dry rub, dry seasoning, whatever you want to call it. But it's the way to go to rub it into the meat. Sometimes, depending on the meat, we'll also score it so that it'll get deeper in, penetrate more into the meat itself. I'm going to flip this over. Don't want to let our foil get away from us. Then we season the meaty part, which of course is going to take on a little more seasoning because it is tissue, it's meat, and not bone. So that'll be the rest of our seasoning on that. And season it up real good. There's no such thing as too much seasoning. The next step is you want to take a nice yellow onion, a couple of them. What we've done is we've sliced these with our mandolin in nice thin slices. And we're going to stack them on top of this rib. We've got them all sliced up here, as you can see. And we'll take them over. We'll just kind of cover this rib with these onions and these pieces so that, man, when they start cooking and baking, the flavor gets down in. I'm not a big onion fan myself, but I do like it onions cooked this way. Our next step is to get this foil, kind of bunch things up here, get them tightened up, and then get this foil wrapped over. Do a little package. And we like to roll the edges. Pretty simple to do. Get it down there tight. And then pull up your end. Nice and tight so that there is going to be some liquid produced by the cooking process on this. So you want to make sure you got your ends tied up so it doesn't leak all over. And that's why we use 2 pieces of foil instead of 1. So it gives it extra strength and holds everything in tight. So there's your package ready for the oven. We're going to set the oven to 350 degrees. We're going to preheat it, and then We're going to pop these in just right directly on a sheet pan, just in case there's a little bit of leakage, that we will control that. Put them in our sheet pan, stick them in the oven, and we'll be back to show you what happens after this. Okay, everybody, we're back here at Bay Haven for the next part of our recipe. 350 degree oven is what we used for our ribs, and my wife always says that when you can smell them, then they're done enough. The goal here is to just cook them partially, because we're going to fish these on our grill, so we don't want to overcook them. Definitely don't want them to the point where the meat's pulling away from the bone. That's overcooked. These are actually going to vary temperature because of the thickness of the rib, but around 160-ish is good. And 45 minutes at 350 for this particular size of rib. And so one of the things we need to do for sure is very carefully pour off this juice, because it will make a mess. What we've got here is a fish cage used for barbecuing fish, and we have adapted this to our rib recipe. Works really, really well. I often will spray this with some Pam spray, any kind of cooking spray, to kind of make it easier for cleanup. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole unit and place it right in there. And sometimes you have to kind of trim it up a little bit just so it'll fit well in the basket. So I might just pop one rib off here, and just so it fits really well into the basket, because it's important that you're able to get this over and get it on top of your onions. And simply slide this bar. I'd like to get it up like this. See, your onions are all still intact. And get the thing down just about as far as you can go, because it will loosen up as you handle it. Then the next step for this product is actually overnight. We like to keep it overnight so that, I don't know, it kind of sets up. It does make a difference. We don't pull it out of the oven, let it cool down, and take it straight to the barbecue, or and you know, we have gas barbecue that we're going to use. We like to refrigerate this overnight and then cook it the next day. You know, could be any time the next day or the next couple of days. So that's where we're going to go from here. We've got it all ready to go, and next stage is going to be on the grill, but that's not till tomorrow. This is where the fish cage really comes in. I've got my grill all preheated, and I'm going to begin to cook my rib. I'm going to put it over the flame pretty much directly down about medium, and we're going to close the lid. And what we're going to do is come out here and turn this frequently for the next half hour or so until it's done cooking. This is what we're at now. We've been turning this frequently for about 5 minutes. We kind of have a hot spot on our grill on the bottom part there, as you can see, but that's okay. We'll have some nice caramelized onions and some not so caramelized onions. One of the things we're going to do now, we're going to spread our barbecue sauce on this. Of course, you can use any barbecue sauce you want. We're using Flo's famous barbecue sauce. My wife makes this product in our house, and man, it's good. So now we've sauced it up. We're going to do that a couple more times and turn it a couple more times, and we'll be ready to take it off the grill. Hey everybody, we're back. Wow. I had this on the grill for probably about, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes. Like to kind of bring it up slow. You don't want super high heat on this. And turn it several times, every 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what you're doing. Kind of get distracted sometimes, for sure, but you can see what we've got here. This is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful ribs. We applied our barbecue sauce at the last stage, and it's sticking real well, and we're ready to get this thing out of here. Sometimes it gets very hot, and one of the things we have to watch out for is All right, onions tend to stick to, oh yeah, they're going. Not too bad though. Just kind of get in there with a tool and make sure you get all those tasty onions out of there. And this rib is done. Nice and warm, ready to eat. Now you might want to let this rest for just a bit, maybe 5-10 minutes. And put this, I typically take these, put them in a 5-gallon bucket, fill it up with soapy water and soak them for a while. Then they come clean pretty easily after that. So there it is, our rib. We're going to go ahead and cut that just to show you how beautiful it is on the inside. This is this portion will feed, you know, at least 3 people, I would think. It depends on how hungry you are, but we like to of course have some beans and stuff at the same time. Best way to cut these is actually get to the bone and just kind of taper with the bone and follow it out, and you can see the inside. This thing is very ready to eat. It's going to be very tender. It's not super pulled back from the bone, but there is some, you can see there's some pullback here. So yeah, it's going to be delicious. Awesome. Awesome. So anyway, there's your rib. That's our magic. Love sharing it with you. Hope it comes out good for you and all your family and friends as well. Thank you.